one of its main concerns is working with youth, young women, and the whole community. So when she was heading this department at the World YWCA office, I was the Secretary General of YWCA in Palestine, Jerusalem. So she visited me, and I was so honored that I'm receiving this youth person to help me with the youth work under difficult circumstances of occupation. You know, Palestine has been occupied since 48 and 67. So she came with hope, looking forward, giving our young people hope for the future under difficult circumstances of occupation and lack of freedom. I could see in her a great future because concerns of justice, peace, freedom, security for young people and for all was in her mind, in her whole being. And so she brought us at that time great consolation and great hope for the future. And now, I think I have this great privilege over all of you to have met her so many years ago, but I knew she would go a very, very long way because of her commitment for humanity. And here she is. And here she is making us all proud as women, not only World YWCA, as communities all over the world, that the concerns of justice, peace, security, women, children, what we are fighting for, gender, combating violence against women, here it is. So it is in good hands, and we all should be with her in prayer and collaborating in every way we can, so she could fulfill her mission and help us all. Thank you.
Phumzile, Ryan and I, as the two co-chairs of Ecumenical Women, on behalf of the leadership team and of all of us present, we are so happy to have you here. Thank you for spending time with us this morning. We look forward to working with you over the next 2 weeks.
Thank you very much and good morning. I am so excited. I've just seen people from my own little village called Johannesburg. What a wonderful day. But you know, it's actually quite a privilege for me to be in this terrain, which is my terrain, which is the place that made me who I am. And one of the things I miss in my current life is that people don't sing. In the church, we sing. So we are not going to start this without a song. Let's have a song. Somebody belt a tune. There's got to be somebody here. Where's Chaplain? Where?
Reverend Dion?
Lead us in a song. Lead us in a song. That we can sing. I'm gonna let it shine. It's still like mine. I'm gonna let it shine. It's still like mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go. you so much for this. And thank you so much for this opportunity to come and meet you. Thank you so much for the other representatives of this group with whom we've had a little quiet time of reflection and even a little prayer. It really helps one to start a journey of these next 2 weeks, which is something that is very important for all of us and the women of the world. It's my first CSW, so I am very nervous. Yesterday was my first International Women's Day in this capacity, and I was also very nervous. So after that day, I was going to say, okay, another one, bite the dust. But we are at a very exciting time in the global calendar of women's struggles. We are on the eve of Beijing +20. We are on the eve of the post-2015 journey that we are about to begin. We are at the end of the MDGs. There is a nexus of issues. When we were celebrating International Women's Day yesterday, I said, more than 100 years ago, women were in the streets calling for peace, bread, better conditions of work. Things that we are still calling for even now. It's more than 100 years, more than a century, couple of centuries that women have been fighting. 15 years after Beijing, 20 years after Beijing, 15 years after MDGs, something has to change. We are past baby steps. Something significant in the lives of girls and women, wherever they are, whoever they are, has got to give. And this is a moral issue. And this argument I cannot always make everywhere, but I'm glad I have an opportunity to make it to you here. It is a moral issue to oppress women, just like racism was a moral issue when in my country it was practiced officially, and the world stood up and said, enough is enough. We are not hearing that about women enough. Leaders are not speaking with one voice and with conviction. Our multilateral institutions are not doing and speaking with enough bolder voice and stronger voice and with conviction. And men and boys are continuously dehumanizing themselves and dehumanizing women, and our churches are not stepping in and saying that this cannot continue. So this is a moment for prophetic voices to come forward. Our progressive theological scholars are murmuring, not shouting loud enough. And this cannot be left to women alone. This issue, we need to find a way of making it squarely a societal issue and make sure that there's a bigger ownership and responsibility. And as one of my colleagues was saying this morning, we have been defensive, trying to defend our terrain. Let's throw it out there and say, this is the mess that the world has created. And you need women. Women are not the problem. Women are the solution, because the world wants to solve poverty. I think most people, reasonable people in the world, want poverty to end. Then do the right thing. Yes. You cannot end poverty without the empowerment of women and respecting of the rights of women. It is a contradiction to expect that you can do anything meaningful about poverty without putting women in the center and embed them in everything of human endeavor. If you want to see sustainable peace in the world and security, bring women to the center. Now, these last few months I've been working on Syria with the women and women of South Sudan. Even when women are in those conditions, down and out, they will stand up and look for ways to put bread on the table for their children, for their men, and for themselves, and for their communities. They will be the ones who become victims of the battles of men, but they will be the ones that are standing up in the villages, in the cities, calling for peace, and willing to talk to whichever side. They do not have grudges. They will be the ones who will stand up and say, we do not want our children to be child soldiers, and we are here to rehabilitate our children so that they can reclaim their childhood and their youthfulness. Who else does that? Who else does that? And therefore, who is the custodian for peace in the world? It is the women. At the peace table, however, very few women sit at the peace table and take their rightful place. Something that, as you know, under the Resolution 1325, we have been working on with many of you. So I need you so much to help us to change the narrative about women and our struggle. We need to put the court back, well, maybe it never was, the ball. We need to throw the ball at the men for them to take responsibility. Because when good men are silent, they conspire against women. There is nothing wonderful about a good, quiet man looking at the TV and saying, oh, it is so bad. A good man is in the street marching. A good man is in court taking up a big test case on something that has to do about women just to prove where they stand and create a big precedent about protecting the rights of women. A good man, where they work and where they have responsibility, refuse to sit in a committee when there isn't a woman. A good man goes into a function, into a conference, and says, I will not sit in this panel because there isn't women, which is something that all of us must do. Whenever we're put into a situation where we sit in a panel or whatever event and there's no women, we say, we're sorry, we can't listen to this. Amen. So there is a lot that we need to do, and all I am saying is that we're at a crossroads, that the steps, it's over now with baby steps. We need steps that are bigger and bolder, that this is a moral issue. We need to raise sharply the issue of the morality of everyone who cares to listen, and we need to make sure that our scholars are counted. Our scholars count. And I think we also need to reach out of people of all faiths so that we could do this together and make sure that the voices are louder. We launched yesterday a campaign at UN Women called He for She. I am an executive director of Women who is looking for men to lead. So that we support men to come out and take their rightful place in society. In this campaign, we are expecting men to step out and become active participants. They must develop their own mass movement for men. They must, and they will not be funded by us. Very important detail. They must develop the men's movement that is focused on the issues of equality of women as the imperative for humanity. And we will support them, because through that also, they will also be able to take their rightful place in the family, at work, in society. We are also asking in that campaign that men go to our website, heforshe.org, and upload their statements, their videos, their testimonies, and what they are willing to do. And I urge you in the communities that you work with to encourage men to come out and to take their rightful place in society. In the meantime, we have to continue as women to organize like there isn't. In fact, there isn't a tomorrow if we don't, because we remain the most reliable custodians of this revolution. If we ever stopped and rested, it will not go the direction it's supposed to go. And let us also focus on embracing and mobilizing young people and young women. Amen. Because in some ways, as the Beijingers, we need to be able to look back and be intergenerational and make sure that we're able to pass the baton, that we're also able to receive what's the perspective of these young women and the way they are directing us. So there is something I hope that is going to be nice, that is going to be happening at this CSW. We will be reviewing the MDGs and identifying the gaps and identifying the challenges and looking at how we're going to move forward so that in post-2015 we have been able to learn from the lessons of the period of implementing the Beijing platform, the period of implementing MDGs, and where did that get us? How do we make sure that the 21st century is a women's, early 21st century is a women's century? We have, and as you may expect, we have some of the challenges and the sticky issues, and the sticky issues are going to be around reproductive health, reproductive rights, and sexual rights. So I will not go into the detail, but those issues, as you know them, they will arise in this CSW. We have to continue to work together to make sure that we protect the human rights of all human beings to the extent that we can. I hope that you spend a lot of time in your delegations, engaging them. We must get a conclusion out of. It's my first one, please. We must get a conclusion, and a conclusion must not be a compromise that takes us backwards. It must be a conclusion that moves us forward. It must also be a conclusion that gives us that platform to springboard. That post-2015, we're going to be taking these bold and bigger steps. And I also hope that you will also have some time just to enjoy sisterhood and to bond. Have quiet time, because those moments also are very important in times like this. Thank you so much.
We have just a small gift for you on behalf of Ecumenical Women. For those times when you are stressed and realize that your mandate covers the whole globe, we have this Hug a Planet. We've also put Ecumenical Women's button right over the compass. We want you to remember that Ecumenical Women too covers this whole globe. And so on behalf of Ecumenical Women, thank you so much for doing it.